Hello everyone, welcome to CiviCRM episode 13. So I'm just doing a sound check with a couple of members of staff. Let me just make sure everything's okay. They should be able to see me. I'll just carry on. Okay, so in this episode we'll be doing an introduction to CiviCRM events, so how they work, how you manage events within CiviCRM, and a general kind of overview of it. Sorry, I'm looking at my dog. He's been a bit strange today, so hence we're a little bit late, but he's wandering around my living room, so I'm just keeping an eye on him. So if you see me lose focus, that's why. So the idea is that we're going to just cover off the basics of how to use CiviCRM events, including how you set up pricing, free events, and how you can use price sets for ticketed events and events that have a financial element to them. They don't have to necessarily. I mean, this is all a bit. It depends on the scenarios that you place, but we'll try and cover off as many of these different things as possible. I'm going to use my Drupal 7 environment for this particular session, just because I've got it up and running, and with these CiviCRM.Tea episodes, we tend to do them without any rehearsal, if possible. I'm just going to grab him, and let me 1 second. Let's move that over there. Rumsey, come here. Come on, outside. No, outside. Come on, outside. Come on. Sorry about that. So yeah. Let's get on then. So if you don't have events, then you can. Sorry, 1 second. Here I'm logged in to my administrative interface on CiviCRM, and if for whatever reason you don't have events, you can go into your system settings, go to your components, and you can just make sure you've got CiviEvent ticks up there, and that will then give you the events menu up here, and it will also give you the CiviEvents administrative menu down there. Now I won't go through this in kind of step by step at this stage. It's probably or how they impact the setting up an event. So let's just have a look at the dashboard. So this is going to tell me what my current event situation looks like, and I'm running the demo data. So this isn't real information that we've got in ours. We used the same environment for the Zoom presentations we did around COVID-19 readiness and what approaches you can take in CiviCRM. So if you do want to watch those old episodes, you should see a bit about events in there as well. So I don't have any events at the moment, no current ones in my dashboard. If I want to see all events, regardless of age, I can go to Manage Event instead. And here I can say, instead of just current, just show me everything. And then I'll see previous events as well. These are all little tips that people sometimes get confused on. My dashboard's not showing anything. I don't have any events. I can't get to old events. So there's lots of different ways you can navigate in CiviCRM. So let's go back to the dashboard. So I don't have an event at the moment. I've got a nice easy link there to create one. So let's go ahead and do that. And like I say, I haven't prepared this presentation, so I'll just make something up as we go along. So you can set up event templates in CiviCRM, so that if you have frequent events like a monthly forum or a meeting or something like that, then you can set up a template which has all of the information preset in it. So it might have the maximum number of participants, the venue, the pricing structure, the times, etc. You might preset all of those just to make it easier to set up future events. So I'll do a free event with online registration, then I'll change it at some point when we come to try registration and things. So what type of event is it? It's a meeting. Now, anytime you in CiviCRM you see these spanners, I realised you can't actually see my mouse. That's good. So next to the event type, there's a spanner. So anytime you see these spanners, you can click in there and get to the administrative side of CiviCRM there. So I can add different event types. So why would you need to do that? So one of the most obvious reasons is that you want to categorize those because they are different types of event. Sounds a bit awkward, doesn't it? Now, what I mean by that is for reporting purposes and for administrative purposes within your organization, it might be there are different responsibilities and they are different streams, so you might want to categorize and therefore have different types of events for that. In the CiviCRM sense, you might want them different because you want to have different custom information that are captured on the different types, and so therefore when you create custom fields, you can say this custom field for participant when they register only applies to conferences, for instance. It doesn't apply to meetings and offline events and things like that. So you can control the custom data and how it presents based on that, based on the different types. There's also things around access control. Sometimes we have systems that we've set up where external agencies run events for certain not-for-profits and they need access to CiviCRM. And again, having a specific type for them means that it's easier to control. It's not the only way, but it's just easier to control access, so you know they're third-party events and they're managed by different organizations. So there's a lot of reasons that you might want to do this. Civi comes kind of pre-packaged with some types, but you can add and amend as you wish. I'll leave mine as is. So the default role, what this means is when someone completes an online registration, what role are they going to get? So again, I can have more. So at the moment we've got attendee, volunteer, host, speaker. I might have the staff member who's administering the event. I might have third-party partners who are part of the event. I could have sponsors, for instance, anything I want, all the different roles within the event. So that way I've got a one-stop shop for my event management. I'm not kind of keeping a spreadsheet of who the sponsors are and then separately an event delegate register in Civi, and then an external staff management volunteering form of the staff that are going to be there. I can have it all in one place, and obviously that then means I can communicate to everyone from CiviCRM. So I can send a thank you email to all the volunteers, a return on investment email to all the sponsors, and a kind of promotional email to all the attendees or a survey, etc. So I can kind of do it all from one place. So having disparate systems, yes, it is easy. It's very easy for me to fire up an Excel spreadsheet to start managing information, but the downside is you've got GDPR issues, you've got comms issues, you've got reporting issues, everything that comes with that. So just to bring in a kind of a curveball into this, often we replace Eventbrite with Civi, and if you just did a straight replacement, then you probably wouldn't see much benefit. But if you build your business processes around Civi and the fact that you're now going to have everybody in Civi automatically, you start to really see the power of keeping the event registration in your CRM and not in external systems. So again, I can have as many roles as I want, and this counted flag is important when I come for registrations. So for instance, if I had let's say my volunteers, for instance, I could say they are not counted, right? So what that means is they don't take up a place. So if I say the maximum number of participants here is 20, then anybody who's got anybody who's registered onto the event but with the volunteering role won't count towards that 20, right? So that way I can split the capacity of the event while still allowing volunteers and casual visitors, for instance, so that they don't impact that total number. So sometimes people artificially increase that uh, every time they want to have a volunteer or a member of staff or a third party in that event, even though they're not paid necessarily to attend the event. Sometimes organisations will increase the max participants just to allow them to come. So you don't need to do that, actually. You can leave that at 20, and I can have the volunteering role here and have as many volunteers as I want, and they won't count towards that 20. So that's, again, just small features in CiviCRM. So participant listing. So if Civi's got a feature where you can list out who's coming to this event. So if for promotional reasons you had Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the UK, attending, I might, that's a good thing, and it will probably drive other people coming to that event. So I have got the opportunity to present a list of attendees from this event out onto a public facing website, and that will be real time. So as people register, it will automatically reflect those new participants. And here I can decide what I want to go out, and I can create another profile, so I could have specific bits of information if I wanted to. We don't have many people that use this, but the option's there. And for a fundraising event, it might be useful where you've got a roll call of people that are on this event, and you want to kind of shout them out. More community-oriented event management. So my event title, what should we go for today? I'm going to go with the dog theme because, like I say, he's been playing up, and we will call this I'm struggling what to call it. Someone's birthday, just for a sake of argument. It was over a month ago, but yeah, let's just say that. So I've got a summary. So the summary is, it sounds like I'm repeating myself here, like if I put that same description in both places, but the summary is what will go out to third-party sites. If you've got your CiviCRM connected, event listings connected to third-party site event feeds and things like that, then the summary is what will go out, because obviously they don't often have the space. Like if it was a Twitter feed, you wouldn't have the space for the entire event description, but you might want a teaser in here. So for instance, and then in the description I might say where obviously we wouldn't, a real event, I'd put a bit more salesy oriented description in there, but it is what it is. So let's say this event is going to happen on Monday, and like I said, it's starting at 9 AM and it finishes on Monday at 11. We don't want to stress him out, so we'll keep it short. And there are 20 spaces for this event. So if I do put a number of max participants, I don't have to, I can leave that blank. But if I do, then Civi will give me the opportunity to manage a waitlist. So the waitlist function is actually quite powerful. So if someone drops off the event, if someone cancels, waitlist attendees can automatically be invited to complete their registration. They're already registered, so they can already indicate their interest in coming to the event. And when the space becomes available, they automatically then get invited to complete their registration. So what all they would do then is verify the information they provided the first time around and complete payment if there is one, and confirm attendance, right? So Civi is managing the fact that we've already got all the information, and all I need you to do is confirm it and make a payment, right? So it's kind of that's all automatic. You wouldn't have to manually manage that. So again, quite powerful features. And please excuse the American dates if you're in anywhere but the US. I haven't changed my settings. So include a map. So if I wanted to show the location of the event, I can include a map on my event information page. Is it public? So I might have members only events, or I might have events that are board level voting events, etc. So I might not want to list it on my public feed. So if I untick that, that won't show up in events listings, etc. Allow sharing through social media. So if during the registration process, participants get the opportunity to use the social links, and they'll get presented on the confirmation and thank you pages. I think on the thank you page, not on the confirmation. And they can immediately use those links to promote the event. They'll also get the links in the emails then on the registration emails, so they can use them there as well. And finally, is it active? So I might be just setting this event up just to prepare myself, but I'm not ready to. It's not active yet. I don't want staff putting people onto it. I don't want it to show up in any kind of feeds, private or public. So I'd make it inactive, but I'll make mine active. So the Zoom notes, and this is all Zoom settings that I've got because I installed the Zoom integration extension here. So just to recap briefly, if I did connect my Civi to Zoom in this kind of COVID world, obviously a lot of not-for-profits have moved their events to Zoom and other online tools. So we in CiviCRM world, we have a Zoom extension that connects CiviEvents to Zoom. So if you set up a Zoom meeting or a Zoom webinar, then you can automatically have the Civi registrations going through to Zoom. Again, what a lot of not-for-profits do is they will set up Zoom and they will get people to register directly into Zoom with the Civi or Drupal or WordPress, simply saying here's an event and here's the link to register. If you did that without integrating into Civi, then you've effectively got two data sets to manage there. We have a couple of clients where they were doing that, and when it comes to then emailing delegate lists out to sponsors or viewing who's coming in your CRM, you obviously can't do that then, right? So then you've got to log into Zoom to see who's coming and what the situation is. If you connect the two, then you can still manage a Zoom event exactly like any other event from within Civi. So you're not kind of having to have two different administrative systems. And also you've got the contact information in Civi. So if they register directly into Zoom, the only way they're going to get into Civi is if you export and import. So again, that's quite a onerous task. And couple that with the fact that what we've actually seen, and I'd say pretty much all of our clients, is the number of attendees has kind of exponentially gone up when the events have moved online. Obviously more people have got time on their hands now, being at home quite a lot, but it's actually so much easier to join an online event than it would be to come to an in-person event, that it's not surprising that the participant counts have kind of gone through the roof. So the more participants you've got, the harder the administration becomes, the more of a task it becomes if systems aren't integrated. So anyway, that's enough on Zoom. So the possibility is there. If you have a look at our previous TV episodes on it, then you can see that. I've just noticed my system isn't critical. I updated it last time, I didn't this time around, so I need to do that. Okay, so let's save that or continue. So that's my basics of the event. So the event location, I'm going to just use because I'm quite lazy. So I'm going to use an existing location, and I know that's in the US. That is my laziness in action. So I'm using existing location that's saved, what the email contact details, what the phone number details, fax, etc., what they would all be, and the address, and it will show the location, and it's got the coordinates for longitude and latitude. If I connected up my Civi, if I put a new address in and my Civi was connected to Google Maps or Yahoo, is it Yahoo? No, Open Maps or something, then it will automatically pull in the grid information, and it will automatically show the map. So I'm using that. I'm just, as you can probably tell, I'm trying to take the shortest route to get an event out. So I haven't put any fees in yet, because when we set this event up, we've said it's a free event. So if I was just to, let's just have a look, where are we? So if I go down now, when I saved this event, Civi gave me this link. So if I just open up that link in a new tab, then you can see what I would see if I was a member of public. Now I'm logged in, so I'm seeing the kind of header menu and stuff. But if I wasn't logged in, then I wouldn't see that. But I would see from this point onwards. And why is it showing the register now? Let's just have a look. Oh, because I've got online registration turned on. So let's turn it off. So if I wasn't allowing online registration, then I wouldn't see the button to book, right? So that might be that we want to pre-release an event, but we're not quite ready to start capturing details, or it might be it's an external event, but we still want to record the fact that that event's happening. There could be a number of reasons. It might be that you've now closed down online bookings, although there's another way to do that, and you therefore want to take it off. But I want online registrations on mine, so I can control the bookings, the button. So I can say book now instead of register now, because that's more kind of what I expect to see. So if I go back to the display, now I've got the book now button, and it's up in the top right as well. Often this will be, because I'm logged in, I'm seeing the administrative look and feel to this, not the public website. So by default, Civi will just take on public pages. It will take on the theme that your website's got, and it should look better than what it does like this. So just ignore that. But like I say, this is more about what you can do in CiviEvents than over how it would look. So I've changed that so I can control when the registration forms open. So like I said before, you could untick that to make it offline, but the better way to do it is say, well, we're going to allow registrations from the first up until I can't remember when I said now, Monday. So I'm going to allow it right up until Monday, and I will allow it Monday until 09. So what will happen then is Civi will automatically take the book button off from that date time. So I'm allowing registrations right up until the start date, because there's not a lot that I need to prepare if more people want to come to Rumsey's birthday. But if it was a larger event where I've got catering and I need to print badges and I need to inform people that you're coming, or I need to check that you are eligible to come, etc., then I might close that the day before and say, right, we're going to take bookings right up until the day before, but then we're going to stop. Obviously now with the online world, now most of the events you can book right up until the start time, but all of that's possible in Civi, and you can control it. So register multiple participants. So this is, am I going to allow single or multiple registrations, right? So let's just have a look at what that does. If I go back here, I'm going to book. Now at the moment you won't know how it worked out, what fields to display, but really what we're interested in right now is this field up here. So at the moment it says how many people are registering, and I can pick up to 10. So that is controlled by this tick box here. So if I untick that and just save this, and I'll just refresh this page. So now I don't have the option to register anybody else. I can only do myself. So what that's saying is, am I allowing a participant to register more than themselves? And I can say yes, and it's up to 9 or 10. Can you use the same email address? So my gut feel on this is a no. I normally recommend our clients to say no to this. You don't really want the same email address being used against multiple contacts. There are caveats to that. So there's conferences and there's PA bookings and there's kind of other stuff that there are situations where you might want to do that, but in a normal event, our recommendation is always that you don't do that. I mean, Eventbrite and some of the larger online event registration meetups and things like that would all insist that you do a unique email address. They won't really let you share an email address. So sometimes that requirement just needs a bit of resetting with the not-for-profit that you're talking to, because if you looked at alternatives, they insist on a unique email address. So just because it makes it easier for someone to register all sharing the same email address doesn't mean it's right for your CRM. It will cause you problems going forward. So our recommendation is to normally turn that off, so we don't want it. Or you have the email address for the first contact, and then on the second contact. So I'll just talk about these whilst we're here. So one way I can do what that is trying to do is say, well, for the first participant, I'm going to have the email address on their profile, so I'm going to ask for it. On subsequent participants, I'm not going to ask for it. So I'm just going to let them put in the first name and last name. Now, obviously, that has an impact in terms of deduplication, because if I don't have an email address, then it makes it a lot harder to dedupe, because you're just relying on the name and you don't 100% know it's the same person. So it swings and roundabouts, but to me that's much better than allowing the same email address to be recorded multiple times in the CRM, just because you want to make it easier for people to book and share the email address. So what else have we got? Duplicate matching rule. So when someone books, how do we want to check if they exist in CiviCRM or not? So just to touch on this, because you're all I'm assuming people watching this are particularly are relatively new to Civi. So the way the duplicate matching, so they're called dedupe rules normally, it works is that when someone, if a member of public, so if I wasn't logged in and I was filling in this form, then the rule being applied is the unsupervised rule. Yeah, so it's saying I'm going to use the email address only. That's my default unsupervised rule. And the reason it's unsupervised is because there's nobody to verify or check or make a decision. The system's doing all of it for you. I'm going to complete this form. Civi's going to check, does this email address already exist? And then it's going to decide what to do. So the decision is, if it's one contact, then it's normally an update. So it's going to add the registration to that contact that already exists. If it's none or more than one, then it's going to create another, because it can't be sure who this person is. So it has to create a new contact. I could use a different rule if I wanted to. So I can have multiple unsupervised rules. And I might use a different, can I? I don't know if I can actually, but I might have multiple general rules, and I could use a general one. So that general one is saying username and address. I don't actually have an address here, but that's what that's saying. So that's what it will try and use, and I can create as many as I want. So I'm just going to go back. I'm going to leave that as email address only. So the participant pending is for the waiting list. So there's two different things here. So one is, are my participants automatically allowed to book the event, or and then the second kind of pending is, are they going to go onto a waiting list, and how long are they going to stay on that waiting list before they're automatically thrown off. So we'll show that a bit later if we get time. It's not used very often, and we normally just leave that alone. Allow self-service. So this is important. So if you tick that, then me as a participant, someone who's booked onto an event, I will be able to change my registration, right? So that means cancel it or nominate somebody else to take my place. Not-for-profits that we work with are always very nervous about allowing that to happen. If you're a membership organisation, then do you really want someone cancelling and saying someone else is coming? Do you really want them cancelling anyway without any kind of interaction from you? You might have cancellation fees. You might have a set percentage that you keep hold of. There might be all sorts of implications there. But then on the other hand, there might be some events where it doesn't really matter, and you'd rather people self-serve than ring you up or contact you to do certain things. So it's entirely up to you which way you'd want to do that. For this example, I'm going to just leave it off. Okay, so then we're coming to the registration screen. So do I want some text at the beginning? So I'm just putting in something just so you can see how this will work, and then the footer on the registration page. So I'll just save that as it stands now. Let's come back here. So now on the registration page, I can see that I've got my text up there. Thanks. I'll try to make it again, and then I've got it down there. Thanks again. So that's how the headers and footers work, and that's where they show. Now again, I can, as part of the styling, I can move those things around and have the button coming after the text and things like that. But all these features are kind of there out of the box. As I said previously, we can control which profile, or we can have two different profiles for each delegate. Right, so each participant that's going to come, we can ask two different bits of information, or one long piece of one long set of information. So the one we've got is your registration info at the moment, so that's just going to ask for these fields. But I can edit that, and I can add let's look for, just for the sake of argument, I can add the date of birth to that. And now if I come back here, I'll show you what happens. So now the form is asking for the date of birth as well. So I've got to supply that as part of my registration process. So that's for the first delegate. So I can have a field, another profile at the bottom. Now the reason you might want that is because there might be some profiles. So for instance, if I had a billing profile, where the first person always has to complete billing information. So it might be purchase orders, it might be contact information, might be how they want to pay, or more detail about how they want to pay. But I don't need that from every single name that's going to get registered. I just need that from the first person. So what you've got two ways of doing that. One is to say I'm going to create a first person profile that includes all this information and then also billing information. Or I can say, right, all delegates, I'm going to ask for this stuff. But the first one, I didn't want to do that. So, but the first contact, that one, wasn't it? I'm also going to include the billing information. I don't have any, but let's just say I'm also going to include the billing information. So it's only the first contact that will see that, and subsequent contacts, I might have something else there instead. So I might say, tell me, I don't know, if they have membership numbers, give me their membership numbers, right? So they're kind of getting, there's some additional information we're asking for from those contacts. It might be, have they ever attended an event before? It could be anything, any kind of questions that we want. But splitting profile makes them more portable, so I can use the billing one against any type of event. It's not restricted to one type. It's not, I don't end up creating profiles per event and then it becomes really, really cumbersome. This list becomes really, really long because I'm continuing to create registrations and stuff. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so that's that. So yes, so in the newer versions of Civi, I say the newer versions, we've been using it for like 10 years, so everything feels new to me, but you can have multiple profiles. So if I had one that says dietary requirements, then I could include that as well. So again, that way I'm using the same fields to record dietary requirements. What you used to see in the early days of Civi was a lot of users would just create a dietary requirements field every time they set up an event. So they'd end up with 50 different fields that were all dietary requirements, but were for different events. So that really made it confusing. And it also meant if someone had told you their dietary requirements in the past, you didn't know about it for this new event. They didn't know, they didn't see it. And it was all a bit confusing. So having more profiles means that I can include, I can make my profiles smaller, having more concise information, but to share them across multiple events. And that makes your database kind of much more easier to maintain, and it makes it much clearer for users in terms of where is this information. All right. So I'll remove that one. We don't want it. So confirmation screen. So you don't have to have a confirmation screen. If it's a free event, you might not need a confirmation screen because you're not asking for payment. So they fill it in, press book, and they're done. Right? Why do you need to say, "Are you sure?" Check your information and then press register. Again, this comes from a kind of A/B testing in the world where we saw that a lot of people were getting to the final page but then not pressing submit because they thought they'd registered because they saw the registration confirmation, and it was like, no, that means you've got to press it to confirm your registration. So this kind of comes from that scenario. So you can, if it's a free event, you could just say no. You can do the same if it's paid. It just means that as soon as they press book, so as soon as I press book here, if it was a paid event, then I would be going into my payment information. It would be taken at that point. So whatever I put in would be taken straight away. So it's an option anyway. I'll leave mine to yes, just because when I book it, I want to show you. So the confirmation email, do I want a confirmation email to go out? And I can set these to so I always do that the wrong way. So that's fine. I'm not going to do any specific text. I'm just going to let Civi do its thing. Okay, so that's the online registration done. So what I'm going to do is just I'm going to book this as myself. Oh, can't spell my own surname. I am only 21, according to my team. So let's just do that. So I'm going to review my booking. So this is the confirmation screen. So I've got to confirm my details. I've got to hit continue. If I untick that confirm option, then I wouldn't have got this, and it would have just been thanks. It will be on the next screen. So I'll hit continue. Ignore all these. Okay, so I'm not going to get the confirmation email because I thought I had Mailtrap set up, but it doesn't look like I do. Anyway, so that's all booked. I'm all done. If I go into events now, let's go back to the events dashboard. So I can see in the dashboard now I've got that active event. I would have had it as soon as I created it, but I've also now got a registration who is me. So I can see the event summary now is kind of starting to fill out. So that role, that person was a counted person. So I've got one confirmed registration. And I can, if I go into my participant record, I can see the event booking there. So when I registered, when does the event start? And in the activities, again, I can see the event registration for an old one, Rainforest one, but I can see this one as well. So that's a real kind of basic registration. So let's just amend this slightly. So I'm gonna let's go into manage events. So I'm gonna make this a paid event, and let's do that. So I'm gonna introduce some fees. Say yes, paid. Oh, I don't know if I've got, no, it doesn't look like I've got pounds. Yeah. So at the moment I've just got the test payment process. I don't have Stripe or anything else installed on this environment, but if I did, I could pick which payment processor I'm going to use. How do I want to record this money? So if it's sometimes some events are in the UK gift aidable, in the US and everywhere tax what do they call it, tax something or the other. So if my event is one of those where I potentially could claim some tax back from the government, then you can set up multiple types so that you can differentiate between the two. In the UK we have VAT, and in the US obviously you have sales tax, and Canada. So again, you might be having different types because some have tax, some don't. So in our case, some have VAT, some don't, etc. So what financial type, how is that money going to be configured to record it? And as well, when I export this information into my accounting system, it's going to be coded differently depending on what type I used here. So I'm going to do this first, just a simple pricing. So I'm going to say so those that can come for 2 hours are getting the $10 rate, and those that are coming for 1 hour, I'm going to be mean and charge them $7. And those that can those that are coming and are not bringing a biscuit, I'm going to charge them $15. All right. So, and I can do discounts by sign up date, right? So I might say, well, I'm going to give you 10% off if you all signed up a month in advance, right? And Civi will automatically do that. So I'll just set up the rule and tell it when to start and end. And I can have multiple rules. So I might say, if it's 2 months before, I'm giving you a 15% discount. If it's a month before, it's a 5% discount. So I might have staggered rules like that. and they will get applied automatically. I don't have to do anything. They will just get applied when the person visits the booking form. Untick that. I'm not going to do that for mine. Okay, so I've created that and I've got a dummy payment processor. Lovely. So let's go back. Let's go back and let's book again. So I'm going to register another participant. So this time, Mr. Joe Blogs is coming along. Still works at Veda, is also 21 even. And he's going to come, but he can't bring a biscuit. Now, I don't remember. I think I can do that. So as I said, I've got the dummy payment gateway. I thought I could just do that. Let's just try it again. Oh yeah, my brain is really not working today. I thought that United Kingdom, London. 1 second. I just need to get some. Let's do. Okay. Let's try that. Oh yeah, there you go. That's better. Okay, so let's review that. Do I confirm? Yeah, that all looks good. I'm happy to pay $15. Let's continue. Okay, that's ignore the error. Like I say, I've not connected up to my mail trap on this environment. I thought it was, but it isn't. So that's all gone through as well. So let's go back and have a look now and see what that looks like. Let's have a look at the dashboard. So now I've got 2 people coming to Vumty's birthday, and Joe Blogs has now paid $15. I didn't pay anything because it wasn't a paid event at the time. So there's no fee level and there's no amount. So if I go into, let's go into Joe's record now. So this time Joe, as well as having the events, the event registration, he's also got an activity and he's got a contribution as well. So in the contribution we can see what the payment method was, what card number, last 4 digits were used, and I can see that it's completed. Now if you had Stripe or a credit card gateway that is compatible with Civi, you can submit a refund from here as well. So you can refund this, you can instigate the refund, or is it the other way around? I can't remember which way around it is. But you can also actually take payments through CiviCRM. So if you wanted to register someone offline, so if I wanted to register, let's say Joe wasn't registered, I could register him offline here, and I could take the payment through here as well. Yeah, so that's taking the contribution through to Stripe or to the payment gateway or whoever it is, as part of that registration. So that's a paid contribution. So what we've done so far is gone through events setup, how the online registration works, how you can make a paid event. The final thing that we'll do, because I don't want this to go on too long because people lose interest after a while, we don't want that. So we'll do a little bit on price sets. So normally for events you have 2 types of pricing structure that you want. let's have a look at what we've got at the moment. So we don't have any. So you normally have two different types. So one is an event where you don't necessarily care about who's coming, right? So you're selling tickets for the sake of argument. You're selling spaces, and you don't always particularly care about who is coming. And then you have the other type of event where you do care about who's coming, but you want to offer them some options in terms of additional upsells or features, if you like. So for instance, if I had an event and I might be offering childcare but charging £5 for it, that's an additional option that I want to offer on top of the registration fee. What I don't want to do is create lots and lots of different pricing options. I don't want to say event registration 1 hour with childcare, 2 hours with childcare, 1 hour without childcare, 1 hour, 2 hours without. So I don't want to end up creating lots and lots of different combinations. What I want to do is use a price set, and the price set is more intelligent. So what I'll do is I'll create one. So I'm going to turn Vumsy's birthday bash into a ticketed birthday bash, so where people can buy as many tickets as they want. So I'm not gonna ask for multiple registrations. I just want one person to buy as many tickets as they like. So I'm not putting any minimum type, and it's for events, right? So okay, so what's the first one? So I'm gonna say I'm charging for attendance, and it's a quantity, so each ticket is £10, and I'm allowing 100 or 1,000. No, sorry, the participant count. How many per option? I'll explain all this once I've done it, because you can see it, and then it will make more sense. So it's required. So I'm going to say this is the minimum. You've got to opt into this option. Okay, so there's that. So let's preview this. So so this is right. Okay, so we can see how this is working. I'm saying what 4 of these things, whatever they are, and each one is $10. So I owe $40, right? So I can see how this is kind of working. Okay, fine. I'm okay with that. But based on that, I'm going to make a slight change to this. All right. So I'm going to say number of tickets. Okay. Cool. Now let's preview that. So now that makes a bit more sense. Well, I want 5 tickets. Okay, they're $10 each. So it's going to be $50. All right, great. So now I'm going to add another option, and I'm going to say I'm going to offer delegates or participants, party goers, don't know what to call them. I'm going to offer them the ability to buy some biscuits. All right, so if they can't bring them, they can buy some. I'm trying to think of how you would word it. So let's call it gift biscuits, and the price is $2 a biscuit. And the participant count is 0. Well, I don't need to put a participant count. So this doesn't affect the number of biscuits, doesn't affect the number of spaces that I've got. So in effect, I'm allowing an unlimited number of biscuits to be purchased by my attendees, right? So in the same instance, if there was no restriction on an option, then I don't need to put something in there. Now I might have some restrictions that I need to apply, but in terms of participant counts, it doesn't matter. So let's save that. Let's see how this looks now. So I'm going to buy 5 tickets, and I want 3 biscuits, right? So my total that I'm going to pay is $56. And then let's do something else. Let's say I'm going to offer the ability to gift wrap the biscuits for them. I am making this all up, right? So gift wrap biscuit, let's call it checklist, and So these are, well, let's say I'm charging $1 for each. So let's say I offered a few options like that. So here now I'm offering different pricing based on the option selected, right? So let's look at it again. So number of tickets, let's go 5. Number of biscuits I'm gifting, 3. And then I've got an option of how do I want to gift wrap them. So if I want a glittered message, it's going to cost me $2. So it's 58. But if I just wanted to say congrats, it's just $1. It's 57. So you can see I'm starting to build out quite a complex pricing structure and option list to my event. I'll do one more example of what you know, the power of this. So I can say I'm going to set you up. I'm going to set up an ability to donate to the Battersea Dog Trust at the same time, right? And I am going to make that checkbox, and I'll make it a checkbox actually. Yeah, let's just do that. So this doesn't all make sense, but you know, let's just carry on with it. And 20. So here these are donations. These aren't coming to me. They're going straight to Betsy Dog's home. So I'm not gonna do them today. So let's have a look at this now. What does this look like? So again, 5 tickets, 2 biscuits, gift wrapped it, glittered, and I want to donate to Betsy Dog's home as well. So I want that, and I want to do some toys. So now my total amount is $176. Right. So you can see it's quite a complex price setting option that I've managed to put together, and that's just from, you know, not really thinking about it and just doing it. So the only one that affects the number of participants is that one, the number of tickets. The rest of them do not affect the participant count. They don't have any limits. Like, I don't care if you want to buy 50 biscuits, great, as long as I know, you know, with enough time that that's possible, that's fine. To be honest, it's very rare that someone's gonna, you know, buy that number of options anyway. But I'm really opening up what's possible, and I'm really making it, for not for profit, it's really important to always look like, well, not to always look like, but always do good, or try to do good. So to make an impact, to make a change. So when you can show options like that as part of your registration process easily, just by a few clicks, then you know, it really encourages people to register and to give. That's my experience, and that's what I've seen with forms that work, is they often have messages that are kind of, you know, they ring true with people, and it's that engagement that gets them to do it. So if we've got that price set now, I've created it. So how do I get that into my event? So let's go back to manage events. Let's configure this. And if I go to the fees now, I'm going to change it. Previous options are gone. So I'm going to save that. Let's go back to event settings. Let's go back here. So I'm going to register another participant. It's not this person. So we can see this time that let's go Janet blogs. She's also 21. It's amazing how many people are 21. They have to wait longer for their COVID jabs, but you know, that's life. So they're going to do 5 tickets. They're going to gift some biscuits. They're going to gift wrap here, and they're going to do puppy toys for you. They're not going to do the guide dog. Right. Where's my test credit card? Let's grab that. Janet. So this time now, because the pricing option is more complex, it's showing me what this looks like, right? So what have I opted into? In the same way, if I booked multiple people during my registration, if it was a multi-person event, it would show me each delegate and their booking options and what exactly am I paying for. So in those paid kind of scenarios, we tend to recommend you keep the confirmation page on, because it is important that people see what they're about to pay for. You might want to change the continue and the title of this so that it's clearer that they actually need to press that before payment is taken. So we'll go through here and just finish that off. All right, ignore all those errors. So that's all done. It's confirmed everything. So let's now go and have a look at the event. So going back to the dashboard. Okay, so now we've got 7 people coming, because I had 1, 2, and Janet bought 5 tickets. Right, so she is just one person, but she bought 5 tickets. So now my register is up to 7, and I can see what she's done as well. So going into her contact record. So I've got 1 contribution, 1 events, 1 activity. She was new; she didn't exist before I did that registration. I can view that and see what she booked for. Right, I can amend the selection at this point, and I can transfer this registration to someone else if I wanted to. I mean, that's quite useful if you're running a fundraiser, the husband or the wife can't attend anymore, the partner can't attend, and they want to nominate somebody else to come. You can do that for organizational event registrations where they've sponsored a place or they've invoiced for a place. Sometimes they just want to transfer it. They don't really want to go through the process of refunding it and trying to amend it as such. They just want to give it to somebody else who's entitled to come along. So you can do all of that from within Civi. You've got name badges as well. So you can, check out a name badge from here. So I've got a badge for that. So I haven't formatted my badges, but they would all be there. And so I just realised I'm not even watching to see if this is all working all right. That would show there, and so that's the kind of event setup and processing. I've got a whole bunch of reports that I can use around events. So I'll just quickly talk about them. So attendee lists, they're useful if you need a list for who's coming, maybe for the event itself, or to send out to people prior to the event. Sometimes you might want to send it out to the catering firms to say, right, these people are coming, these are their dietary requirements, etc., etc. You've got the income summary reports and the details. So if I just want to see at a management level how my event's doing, am I at break even, should we cancel this event, etc., etc. I got that report to see that. Income details, so how is the income looking in terms of particular bookings, what options are working for us, what aren't, etc. So I've got those, and then I've got the whole scheduled reminders, so I can schedule reminders. So let's just go back in and quickly do that. It's quite a lot to cover. I didn't realise how much there was. So let's just go back and so schedule reminders. There isn't any, so it's not working that way. But if I wanted to automatically do some workflow where, let's say anybody who's registered, I might say 1 day before the event start date, send them a reminder. So I said, don't forget your biscuits. Then Civi will automatically remind them a day before. And I can have multiple, so I might have 1 7 days before, 1 2 days before. And then I can use the same schedule reminder for post-event stuff. So I might say send them a questionnaire 2 days after the event, or send them a thank you in the next morning, etc., etc. So I've got kind of all sorts of options here in terms of automating some of that workflow. There's also CiviRules, and I can use some CiviRules to do more complex stuff. So I could restrict it to people that paid a certain amount, took a certain option. So those that sponsored Battersea Dogs stuff, I might have a particular thing that I want to send them, or an update, or a pub date, or whatever you want to call it. There's all sorts of options there. And these schedule reminders, again, I've got the ability to add tokens, so they can be personalized or hyper personalized, how far you want to take it. And these are all the differentiators between using the CiviEvents and events connected to your CRM, as opposed to using a third-party event system. So here I could, if I wanted to create a really impactful email, I could say, thanks for coming to this event. We noticed you've been to 7 events in the past 12 months and you're a member and you've donated X and we really appreciate you. Right? I could do that. I'd have to create a custom token to do all that, but I could do all that and have that automatically being sent out to contacts on registration post-event. And because it's a single point of truth, my database has everything about my interaction with this person. They're getting the sense that you know them, you know about them, you know what they're up to, and that you have a relationship with them. Whereas if you just send them an email from the event system saying thanks for registering, that's not really very personal. And we use that term personalization very loosely. Those systems say, well, you can put in the person's name in the header or in the introduction line. That's not really personalization. That's just their name, right? Personalization really means putting something in that person can resonate with, that you know about them or understand about their mission. So that you really need more. You need more about their CRM. You need more about their the satellite data around them than just that they booked onto an event. So I hope that's been useful. Sorry, I'm starting to really talk fast because I've realized how much I actually wanted to get through and we're kind of out of time. But as usual, if you do have specific questions, like events in itself, we could do 10 sessions on events. So if there are specific things in events that you'd like to see, for instance, if you want to see how the discounts work, the early bird discounts, how they work. We didn't even talk about Civi discount. So again, Civi discount can work with event registration, where you can offer coupon codes or discount codes to people, or set it up so that members get an automatic discount. If you want to see any of this stuff, like I said, there's absolute tons of it. Then Danielle's telling me to stop talking. I'm trying to stop talking. So do shout on ideas.CiviCRM.TV. And we're just working through that list kind of chronologically. If there's a high, if a lot of people are asking for a certain thing and it needs preparation, then we're just hanging off it for a bit. But otherwise, we're trying to cover off all these kind of topics. And events, it doesn't take much time to prepare. So anything around that, please do shout. Okay, I'm going to stop. Otherwise, Daniela will have a go at me. My dog's had enough. He's finally settled down. So I think that's a good point to stop this particular CiviCRM episode. So I hope you all found that useful, and stay tuned, and we'll try and keep these coming regularly. Thanks a lot.